Okay, we might be rolling, we might not be rolling. I'm kind of mad that I decided to come at this time. Reason being because of how windy it is. And also, like, when I come around the afternoon, that's when it's busier. And there's something so nice and quiet about the morning, even if it's not like deliberately loud. Welcome back. It's been a while since I posted. It's been 4 months since I posted um a YouTube video. Hopefully, you don't blow away with the wind, but I cannot promise. I cannot make promises. But anyways, guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Um, welcome if you're new, and I'm pretty sure most people will be new because I only have one video out as I'm speaking right now. But guys, welcome to my channel. This channel is going to be about everything that I've just learned in my very short years of being on this earth. But the Lord has taught me so much, and I wanted to create a channel where I spoke about my faith, and not only spoke about my faith but my experience with God, how it's changed my life, how it's changed the way I see myself. I also wanted to talk about how our faith links with all different aspects of the world, such as psychology, philosophy, art, science. Oh my days. You know what? Like, at least the hair is giving, guys. At least the hair is giving, but I, I don't know about the wind. I wanted to create a channel where I spoke about things that in detail and the things that I'm just deeply interested in. I mean, I'm no guru, I'm not a life coach, I'm not anything of that sort, but I just have had experiences that I think are worth telling the world. And the people that will resonate with what I create, I feel like I can build a very beautiful community of like-minded people who are interested in the same things as me, but also I welcome those who are curious to learn about God, to learn about the world, psychology, faith, and all these things and how they integrate into one another. But yeah, my name is Vanessa, and I am 18 years old. I've just finished sixth form, so I'm not in school anymore, and I have a vision, and that vision is to build this YouTube channel. And not only is that my vision, but to build a business where I help people, I coach people, I teach people these things, and I can also transfer that into the education system, because I feel that there's so many things that I've learnt in this world that I did not learn in school, that I learnt purely through experience, purely for just um analyzing and understanding the way that this world works. And I think that the Lord has given me a grace to speak on these things. And my heart and desire is to help young people, especially, but I welcome all ages, is to help young people, especially, um, through life, through relationships, through identity, through your purpose, and all of these things. So I'm really happy. I am so sorry for all this movement. I'm really happy that you're here. I guess this counts as my first official video, although I do have a video up, and I created that video 4 months ago, and I was still in school, and I knew I wanted to be a YouTuber. Knew I wanted to create content, but I kind of was so entangled with everything else that was going on in my life that I didn't put enough focus or attention to it. But that video in particular is really special to me, because I genuinely created it from a place of fulfillment and a place of passion. That video is called what was it called? Every setback is a setup for success. I don't know if that's my quote. I don't know where I got that from, but I remember just thinking of those words. Every setback is a setup for success. Because I was in a period of my life where I felt like everything was going backwards for me. And I felt as if I couldn't progress in anything, in any area. I felt like I was dealt with the bad cards. And you can relate if you grew up in a home where there was a lot of financial difficulty, your parents were separated or divorced, there wasn't enough family time, and you just feel like you had a hard upbringing. You often unknowingly develop a somewhat of a victim mindset. And the reason why is because, I mean, you are growing up and life is already so difficult. And as a child, like, you're meant to be free, you're meant to be ambitious, you're meant to be creative and curious and all these things. But I think hardship definitely makes you look at life. And then when you get to the age where you start to realize these things and you reflect and you realize, wow, like, my life is so different to the other people around me. I feel like there are two different paths a person can take, and that one of them is being a victim. And that same outward look on life, weirdly enough, prospectively, creates those same experiences. I feel like once you develop that mentality, you will feel like everything is against you. You will feel like there's never opportunities for you. You will feel like you're always at loss. But the one thing that I caught, and I was able to transmute that energy into something that would bring me purpose, was seeing every single thing in my life that goes backwards as a setup for success. This whole entire world is up to you, what you decide and how you decide to think. And I decided to think the way that God wants me to think. I prayed and prayed, and I was like, God, what is the meaning behind all of this? And I came to the conclusion that I can choose the meaning. It doesn't just get handed to me, it's a decision that I have to make. Will I look at every circumstance in my life and see it as a failure or an opportunity for success? Because there's no right answer. Your subconscious doesn't know but the difference between what's real and what you tell yourself. So why not make your reality what you want it to be? And for me, it was realizing that these all these things are setups for success. What does that mean? So just every single hard thing that you go through, you either have to swallow it and become it, or you overcome it. You grieve it and you overcome it. And what I mean by that is that, for example, if you grew up with a lot of financial hardship, you can develop the identity that you're poor and that money is hard to make. That can be your identity. Or you can switch things and say, I know what it's like to struggle financially, and I want to use that energy to create something that will help other people who are in the same position. Instead of taking things inward, you pour it outward. And that will ultimately change your circumstances, because the energy now isn't, oh, I'm just a loser. And you're not, the energy now isn't just depleted. The energy now progresses into something meaningful, into something successful. So every single thing that happens to you, maybe you were bullied at school, and you may see it as, well, I must be a nobody, I must be a loser. Or what if that bullying developed tough skin? So now when you're placed in positions of authority, when you're placed in positions where you have to make yourself known, you have to overcome the fear of being perceived, you have had such a negative experience already that's built tough skin, and that tough skin allows you to speak your truth without the fear of being judged. Because why do you care about being judged? You've been bullied, you know what it's like to be picked on. So why would strangers on the internet or online, why would their opinions affect you? You can take the things that happen to you and look at it from a viewpoint of, what is this developing in me? Who am I becoming because of this negative circumstance? That's not to say that everything bad that happens to you should have happened to you. Obviously there's some nuance there, and I hope you guys can understand that there is nuance there. um Sometimes things happen and they're unfortunate, but still it is my belief that anything, no matter how terrible it is, there is a purpose in it. And I want to go as far as to say, even people who've been abused, used in every way, I can't like say every single thing because, you know, YouTube, but there are still people out there who are creating books, businesses, um communities that are helping people who've been in an exact same situation and creating something. There's something so beautiful about healing, about restoration, about redemption, because all of those words collectively, they all have to have one thing in common, and that is pain, that is suffering, that is hardship. Because without these difficult things in life, what would we be? I had this thought, right, and I was thinking, what makes a relationship genuine? What makes a relationship like genuinely meaningful? And it is the moments, not the happy moments, but it's the difficult moments where your partner continues to choose you. even in your flaws, even in your mistakes. And that requires what? It requires forgiveness. It requires selflessness. So without these beautiful things, love couldn't flourish. And with that being said, connection and love and all that we've known for love to be isn't butterflies and rainbows, right? It's through hardship. It's when you feel the closest to someone, when you're the most vulnerable, when you're the most open, the most, yeah, the most vulnerable, because where pain sits is where purpose also can meet you. And so that's the kind of perspective that I encourage every single person to have in their lives. Every setback is a setup for success. If you want it to be, if you choose it to be. And so now you navigate your life not as a victim, but as a warrior, as a, what's the word? As an overcomer, as a conqueror, just like Christ says. And I'm going to put Bible verses here because everything that I know and understand and the wisdom that I want to pour into this channel is purely from the word of God. I have to give credit to the one, right, that created all of this, right? And yeah, so developing that mindset, it will change your life. It will truly change your life. There, there are so many people, yeah, with the most terrible upbringings, the most painful stories. But in that story, in that experience, sits a book that can change millions of people's lives, sits a business that could completely change history. And it is in those things that people can truly, truly see what they were made for. You know, there was a verse. I mean, there was a quote in this book that I was reading, and the quote was, "We are born into hardship, into problems, into suffering, and it's only until we're born again that we can overcome those things." Now, if you understand that, you understand that. If you don't, you don't. But truly, position yourself, your mind, your everything, your soul, to see everything as an opportunity for success. That's the only way that you could ever win in this life. Because suffering is inevitable, pain is inevitable, struggle is inevitable. But what sits on the other end of all of these things is redemption, it's restoration, it's overcoming. And that is what I want to encourage you guys with. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube video. I will have a podcast out soon where I dissect these topics on a much, much deeper level. Um, I really enjoyed making this content, and if it's windy and you can't hear me, I will have to come a different day. But I bless you guys in Jesus' name.